And welcome in again, everybody. It is Jim Caldwell, the Public Relations and Marketing Director for KEDC with you. And we are all about the upcoming AI Summit, and we're closing in on it. We're closing in on it fast. It's the second year for it. And we have no stranger to it. At our first one, we have with us now Dr. Rachelle Dené Poth. And first of all, Dr. Poth, we appreciate you being here with us again.
Yeah.
Last year you kind of led things, get everything going for the first year. Can you talk about that and the excitement around last year? And then let's talk about what you're going to be doing this year.
Yeah. So last year was really awesome. I still can't believe that it's, year two now happening. The thing that, leading up to it last year, just trying to help with any of the planning or get things going. But I had a lot going on that I was so excited for and honored to be selected to have, given the opening keynote. And then I moderated a panel, which was a fantastic panel with the different people from, parents to students to people in the industry to representatives on, important topics about AI and education. And I found that I really do love moderating panels. I'd done that before, but this was a unique experience just because of all of those different backgrounds and perspectives. And then I had done some sessions there as well last year. So I was there for the 2 days, and I'm looking forward to being there again this year because I'll have several sessions covering AI, of course, which has been my area for about 9 years. Also AI and the law, which I started doing about 3 years ago. Trying to condense it into like a 50-minute or 60-minute session is a little bit challenging because about a year ago before the summit, I had done a 7.5-hour virtual and everything in between. So that's one of my favorite sessions, doing some on cybersecurity, and then on one, it's on kind of balancing humanity and innovation in STEAM learning. So covering a variety of different topics. So looking forward to it.
You said something there that's going to catch some people off guard. You said you've been working in on the AI sector for 9 years. A lot of people don't realize how old it really is, do they?
No. And that's, it was July of 2017 because I have been writing articles for a publication called Getting Smart. And they had, an editorial calendar with different themes. And most of the things that I'd written about, actually, sometimes it was, 5 takeaways from the ISTE conference or 5 takeaways from this event. And then sometimes it was things I was doing in my classroom. And those were easy to write about. But then for January of 2018, one of the themes was AI. And it piqued my curiosity because I've always been about technology and just, things are emerging. So I did some research and just kind of dove into it. But you're right. Like when people think about it, they feel like in many cases that ChatGPT was the launch of the world of AI. And I'm like, nope, been around since the middle of the last century. It's been doing things in the background. We don't know that it's there. It's just taking care of what it's been programmed to do. But it definitely has kind of changed the trajectory of what I did, because when I started doing presentations, and I laugh about it because I was just teaching, like, what is it? Where do you see it? Put in a proposal for a presentation for a conference. And I'm like, I got plenty of time to get that ready. And then it rolls around. I'm like, oh, okay. The nerves set in. But I really just ran the sessions as the way I was teaching my students and then just branched out. But then with ChatGPT and all the generative AI, of course, had more material and then bigger issues that were out there because my attorney background too, a longtime educator, but then the attorney came a little bit after that, looking at things a little bit differently. So that's why I started to, challenge myself again, like what is happening in the laws in different states, in schools and policies. And so I've really enjoyed that part of it as well. And then cybersecurity was thrown in there because my school had a cybersecurity attack a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, all right, so let's start teaching about this. So yeah, but you're right. Like some people are just getting started with it. I did some work here in Pittsburgh with a group back in November of last year. So you're talking 3 years almost with ChatGPT, and 10 of the 25 in the group had never used, not ChatGPT, not Gemini, not any of the above. So I was like, open up a tab. This is your day. Like you are starting right now. So, but yeah, it's been interesting and fun to see what people are doing. Also what their concerns are. And I respect that, you're hesitant towards it, or you're like, yes, just tell me everything and everywhere in between. So it's a lot of fun. And the summit was really, really great last year. And I'm really excited for it this year too.
And like you said there, some people have never used it. They never heard of some of the options to use. I came out of media. I worked in media for 25 years. And of course, it started dominating the headlines just a few years ago when, with the first really user-based, user-friendly version, when they were coming out. And more readily accessible to a lot of folks. But what they don't realize is they've been using it this whole time, and they just didn't know it. They didn't use it in the same capacity we're all using it. Well, those that use it are using it today, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's I had spoken with somebody before ChatGPT had come out, which November of 2022. That same publication, Getting Smart, I credit with a lot of the things that I get involved in because they give me an idea and I do the research. But I think that it was in probably March or April of 2021 that I helped to do research for an article for Forbes Online magazine, and it was about GPT-3. And so when I went into the collaborative document and I saw all of these things that they were already doing, like taking the books of the Game of Thrones and uploading them into the system and prompting it to write what will be the next book in the series by the same author and other interesting things. It was mind-blowing. And then it took, that iterative process to kind of get ready to launch it to the public, which we saw at the end of November 2022. But I did speak with somebody in between that time that was working on a platform with AI for educators primarily, and they were non-US based. And I've said this quote many times, but he said, the thing about AI is when it's doing what it's been programmed to do, you don't know it. You only recognize it whenever something doesn't work right. And that has stuck with me for now over 5 years because it's in the background. And often people will say, well, I don't want my kids using AI, or I don't want to use AI. And I'm like, chances are you've been using a lot of the things. I'll give examples like, have you done a Google search? Have you used maps to go somewhere? And there's a long list of the most common ways. And I've shared that in my presentation. It's just a great way to even get started teaching younger kids. Where do we see it? How does it work? What are the benefits and those kind of things? So yeah, it has been around a while. It's just been kind of like silently in the background a little bit.
And now it's in the forefront because it did get all the media attention, and we started talking about it more, and it became readily available in that true form where you get an app on your phone with it built in now, so things kind of changed rather quickly. So you've been watching this for a long time, so you've probably got a better understanding than most, well, definitely anybody that's going to show up at this event, because you've got that legal background. And what's a common legal concern that you're hearing and fearing, that people are fearing when you show up to talk about AI? What's one of the biggest issues there?
Yeah, well, when I either if I've done just my normal AI session, my question is always like, what's the first thing you think of when I say AI? And that answer has changed, over the years. But now whenever I do the law session, it's, what are your concerns? And people just yell things out. And in the last probably 4 or 5 sessions that I've done, the first thing that people have said has been data privacy. And that is a big concern, because if you're using different systems, especially ones that are not educator focused or that have not been built by educators, or have educators that are involved in the process of making sure they're in compliance, that can be a very scary thing. So that's a big concern. For me, when I got my doctorate 2 years ago, the focus was on the need for professional development specific to AI, but also with the understanding there are going to be other emerging technologies that come up in our careers that we have to be prepared for. And so you need that training, because what happens, especially with data privacy, is you find a platform, whatever the tool is, and then you might think, oh, well, this is great. I need to create an IEP or a letter of recommendation, or as an administrator, observation notes. And you put all the information in, but you don't necessarily know, unless it's been thoroughly vetted by somebody on your IT team, or you've done it yourself and know what to look for, that you don't necessarily know if they're taking that information. And I always say buying, sharing, storing, a lot of different things I throw out there. So, who has access to that? And I had spoken in LA about 2 years ago at an event at their County Office of Education. And it was full of mostly administrators or varying roles like that. And I had a woman come up to me who worked with special education teachers. And she was really trying to find something to give them an opportunity to use AI that's going to help them to be more efficient, productive, with the mindset of like, I want them to be safe and secure in what they're using. And she said to me, well, it says on the site that they're not going to use the information. Should I trust it? And I said, no. And she just looked at me and I said, they're saying they don't. But with these different platforms, especially ones that could be free or paid, you always want to look behind, what is building that platform out? What is collecting that money? Do they have access to that? So data privacy is definitely the number one answer, both, students using it. I mean, anybody, not just specific to education. And that comes down to the training and to using the right tools that, and nothing is 100% guaranteed, but the tools that, somebody has looked at, they are in compliance, their privacy policies are up to date, and you can actually read through. I love reading the legalese. That's a lot of the work that I do, is going through and advising people, organizations, schools on what to look for. So data privacy has become the number one answer.
I can see that. I really, really can, because we've got so many other fail safes in place in other avenues to try to protect that. So it makes sense. So at your sessions that you're going to be doing here, what do you want the educator, or just whomever is in your session, what do you want them to walk away with after being in there?
Well, I always want people to walk away with ideas and feeling like, it might be a bunch of ideas, because, it's finding that balance, because you don't want somebody to walk away like, oh, well, I was in this session and I knew, 75% of what was presented. So I always use surveys in my sessions, and just to kind of get an idea. But if it's the AI in the law session, if it's the AI session, cybersecurity, I want people to walk away with like tangible ideas, things that they know to look for, understanding where to look if they have questions. Also on an administrator side, if they're coming to the AI in the law session, knowing what to have set up in their schools, because this past year I've been working with 12 districts across the United States in a task force on each of them, and looking at acceptable use policies, discussing screen time, talking about AI, and all of the things we're talking about. So the biggest struggle that I've heard and been involved in trying to find a solution to is, where do we start? And so I want people to walk away with having a couple of ideas of an organization, of an example, whatever it is that they're looking for, a potential answer to a challenge that they are facing in their school system, maybe in their classroom, and also hopefully some relief that there are resources out there. There are people that are ready, willing, and able to work with them and help them and guide them in the right direction. So hopefully people will walk out with some new knowledge and having had some fun in the process too, because you probably tell by now, I'm a storyteller. I got a lot of stories, but they're stories that have a point, that often have comedic value in them. I don't know, maybe it's the way I've told them over the years, but I just want people to walk away with the ideas, and knowing that they're not alone in all of the things that we're seeing, because there are other people out there that are experiencing the same thing, and somebody has an answer to the question you're asking.
I've asked this of all the interviewees that I've talked to here the past week or so. And it's this: what in your personal life, what do you use AI for almost every day, or every day? You as a person, not as an educator or a lawyer. What do you as a person?
That might be a little personal. No, well, I'm just kidding. The irony in that. Well, actually, there's several things I do. I mean, I tested out just random things. Like I'll take a picture of something and I'll ask it to analyze it. And like my friends are like, I didn't know you could do that. One example, and I'll share, people know that I'm a cat person. So my cat was acting kind of funny. So I took a picture because I was trying to get a good look. And I'm like, what do you notice about this? Because I'm curious. I want to see what its limitations are. And it was like spot on. But personally, what I like to test it for are medical things, because I have a pretty good understanding of different, medical conditions and so forth. And I know that it's not giving medical advice, but I've seen it change from back last December to now, where it's saying like, you should go consult a professional. But I will ask it just random questions about things like that. And there are several other people that I've met. They're like, I have the same thing, like I have a name for it. It's, MD, but I have a couple categories that I use, just personal. If I'm, it's like a curiosity thing. So something pops into my head and I just want a quick answer. I'm like, okay, there you go.
Something I've learned too with it, there was a certain topic that I was trying to research probably a year ago, and it gave me very limited information, and
Mhm.
I knew the information was out there, but I just did it again recently, and I got all the information that I wanted. It's stuff
Nice.
that if you're smart enough, you can go find it on the internet. You just got to know where to go.
Yeah.
And Chat GPT, it didn't get there last year, but
Mhm.
now it got there for me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is what I wanted. Now I know. Now I know these
Right.
numbers, these figures. So it continues to learn. It continues to change our lives, whether people are willing to accept it or not. It's out there, and it has been for a while. So,
Yeah.
well,
Totally
we
agree.
appreciate you, and can't wait to meet you at the second annual AI Summit,
Yeah.
and learn all that we can learn from you.
I can't wait. It was such a great experience last year. Everybody was just so wonderful and welcoming, and that was the first time I'd ever been to Kentucky in my entire life. And then I was there 3 more times after that, so it was great. So I'm very much looking forward to being there and seeing the team again and learning.
Well, here's just a fun question for all of our Kentucky folks that are going to be there. What did you like most about Lexington, Kentucky, when you were there?
It was just it was just beautiful. I mean, I wish I had more time to be there.
Yeah.
But just going into my dad had traveled with me because he went to school in Kentucky for college. So we did a father-daughter road trip. And so getting to go out, stay there, it was a lovely location where it was held, and then just going into town and having a lovely dinner. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some of the different things that are there when I get to go back.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we appreciate you so much. And again, like I said, we look forward to seeing you here at the summit.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a bakery I have to go to because he got to go and I didn't get to go. So that was the other thing.
And you got to
So
get there. You got to
yeah,
make sure you get
yeah.
there this time.
We always
Okay.
find the bakeries and the ice cream places, and he went to the bakery, and I was like, seriously, you went to the bakery without me? Like, and all I got was a picture. So I plan to get more than a picture this time. So
You were busy. You were busy presenting and all that. He
I
had some running
guess
around to do.
he had the fun there, but that's okay. I'll make up for it this year.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Dr.
Thank
Poth
you.
will be at our second annual AI Summit at the Hyatt Regency in Lexington. So you're going to get to work with her, see her, and listen. She's full of knowledge. This is just us talking for 15, 20 minutes. So imagine what a full session's like when you can sit down and give her your full attention and be in that session. So we appreciate y'all and look forward to seeing you.